can we determine transaction into either capital or revenue is like, it can be based on these below given considerations. Okay, one of which is nature of the business. For a trader who is dealing in furniture, that means he's purchasing the furniture and selling the furniture. For him, if he is purchasing and selling and getting the revenue generated, we say that's a revenue expenditure for him and revenue income for him. Okay, but whereas if the business is something different where we use the furniture as an asset, then we say that purchase of furniture should be treated as the capital expenditure and shown in the balance sheet as an asset. But for the trader who is dealing in the furniture, that means purchasing the furniture and selling the furniture, he has to treat it as a revenue expenditure for running the business. So the nature of business is very important criterion for separating an expenditure to be either capital or revenue. So one more consideration that we need to have to determine whether it is capital or revenue expenditure is the recurring nature of expenditure. If there is a frequency of an expense like happening every month or every quarter or every periodical interval, then we say it's a revenue expenditure. Or if the expenditure is of non-recurring, like say purchase of asset, we generally not go on purchase the assets in the business, right? We will be purchasing at once, which will give us benefit for the longer period of time. So that is like a capital expenditure. But whereas revenue expenditure is nothing but it incurs, like it going on recurs every month. The best example could be the monthly salaries that we pay or the monthly rent that we pay is the revenue expenditure which will incur every month. But whereas purchasing the asset is not the revenue expenditure, it to be considered as capital expenditure. It is incurred at one time and then will be having the benefit given for the longer period of time. So the expenditure purpose also should be considered for while determining it as capital or revenue. Like say for example, if you are doing any general repairs to the machinery, like which can be incurred in the course of normal maintenance of the asset, then we say it's a revenue in nature. But on the other hand, if you are incurring the expenditure for the major repair of the asset, like for example, in the case of lift, okay, installation of lift, if you are doing it regular annual maintenance, then we say it's a recurring one and it will be considered as a revenue expenditure itself. Okay, but if anything happened like the lift is not working or something, or you need to change any part of the lift, then purchasing of that part, like it will give you benefit for the longer period of time. So that repair, the major repairs that are involved, which are made once in a time, then those will be considered as the capital expenditures, not the revenue expenditures. Effects on revenue generating capacity of the business. Okay, if the expenditure is such that it is increasing the capacity of the asset, like for the helping it to generate more revenue, then we say it's a capital expenditure. Okay, it is helping you to generate more and over more than one accounting period, then we'd say it's a capital expenditure. But if the expenditure is such a way that it is helping you to generate income, but that is in the current period only, then we say it's a revenue in nature. Okay, like say when expenditure is on improvements and repairs of a fixed asset is done, it has to be charged to the P&L account itself if the expected future benefits are like do not change because of that expenditure. Okay, but if the asset if the improvement is made to the asset which is giving you like you are expected that there will be future benefits from the assets, then we'll say we will capitalize it to the asset value and write it into the balance sheet. The other thing could be materiality of the amount involved. Here the amount the proportion of amount involved in the asset or in the expenditure will also make a distinction between whether it's a revenue nature or whether it is a capital nature expenditure. Okay, like if the amount is involved, the amount involved is like very small, then we say that can be directly taken to the revenue expenditure instead of taking it as capital expenditure and treating it as asset. Okay, if you are treating the small amounts also as an asset and make it capitalized and getting it depreciated every year, then the accounting will get complicated. So that's the reason why we take the small amount involved assets directly into the P&L account and treat it as a revenue expenditure, even though if it is giving you benefit for more than one accounting period.